Hey everybody, welcome back. So for today's video, I'm just going to be going over the lore books that are in the Sea of Stars stage areas. So with the 2.7 update, there have been some cute little lore books that have been placed all around, and it doesn't look like they stay in the lore compendium from what I can see. So I just want to keep a little archive of what these say, just in case some, newer players or maybe people that have missed it want to read them. So this is our first one right here. It's called Adventures of Nikki and Momo. So it says, Nikki, I rode my bike straight into a fence, but luckily I'm not hurt. I even crashed into a florist sheep with Momo. It was so fluffy and soft, like falling into a cloud. I really have to thank the florist sheep for that. I'll keep practicing my cycling skills. Experience builds up like Momo's shed fur. There's more and more over time. Momo says, right. Wait, hold on. Do I really shed that much fur? I think I need to eat more barbecue to recover. Nikki, the wind is so strong it almost blew Momo away. Even after a full meal, a rain of petals started under the trees, and I wanted to spin around in the pink drizzle, but Momo told me not to move as he found the perfect photo angle. Momo, I took so many beautiful photos. Nikki even turned the fallen petals into bookmarks. Now we get to keep the rain forever. Nikki, we caught the shady scammer who was selling ordinary starlit plums as rare specialty at the outrageous price, while Momo played the role of Don Momo to negotiate with him. I, wearing a guard uniform, arrested him on the spot. After interrogating the guy, he was sentenced to return all the blings he had scammed from people, apologize to everyone, and pay 10 times the starlit plums as compensation. Momo says, our brave pink-haired guard. It's a good thing you were there, or else this Don Momo's secret stash of blings wouldn't have been taken. How was that? Pretty convincing, right? I can totally keep up with Nikki's spontaneous roleplay now. All right, and then we have our next one here. So it says, the truth behind barbecue's nightmare. Oh my goodness. So lately I keep dreaming about giant slab of barbecue chasing me while yelling, and my face feels itchy since I'm half asleep. But every time I wake up, only Momo's beside me and everything seems normal. Why do I keep having this strange dream? A fortune teller lady I met said it might be a sign, a warning. A fairy from Twin Moon Kingdom told me the dream comes from my subconscious. I decided to investigate carefully and uncover the truth. Clue number 1. The night I had a nightmare at the campsite, an adventurer in the next tent said they later saw a huge black shadow flash through my tent. Momo, what? Is this monster the reason Nikki is having nightmares? What does it want? Clue number 2. I never have this dream when I sleep with the nightlight on. Momo says, that thing really is bad. It only shows up in the pitch dark. Clue number 3. Momo said he stayed on guard all night and didn't see a trace of a monster, but I still dreamed of the giant barbecue that night. Momo says, I had one eye on guard duty and the other on lookout. I absolutely, definitely did not accidentally fall asleep. Momo. And then it says the plan. Secret operation. After the lights went out, I closed my eyes, breathed long and steady, and pretended to be asleep. In the dark, I felt something huge approach my pillow. Something furry brushed across my face, bringing the smell of barbecue. The truth is uncovered. The oblivious suspect cat claimed, hee hee, I remember Nikki was afraid of the dark when she was little. The tent was pitch black, so of course I had to snuggle up close to Nikki, just like back then. With me around, the night isn't scary. Actually, I'm not afraid of the dark anymore, but I guess Momo still sees me that way. I used to be. After I figured it all out, I felt Momo's belly rising and falling beside my head that night and soon fell asleep. This time I dreamed Momo was happily sprinkling seasonings onto a giant slab of barbecue, and the delicious smell drifted into my nose, making it itch. Since the nightmare has turned out to be a sweet dream, maybe I won't tell Momo the truth just yet. That was so cute. Momo was staying up next to her because he thought that she was afraid of the dark still, and he smells like barbecue. Aw, that's so sweet. All right, so we have our next one. So it says, "No more bad deeds. Oh, distant star, today I did something very, very bad. You blink down at me from the sky every single day. Did you see it too? I wanted to play a game with the candies in their pretty little wrappers, and guess what flavor they were? Through the candy's close, I could only smell the faintest hint of sweetness, so I came up with a brilliant idea. I let my mouth help me figure it out. Pink was strawberry flavor, orange was citrus orange, white was creamy milk flavor. I kept guessing and guessing. Before I knew it, the whole table was covered in colorful candy wrappers. I definitely ate more candy than mommy would let me. I hid all the wrappers in my drawer, though maybe throwing them away would have made them harder to find, but they were so pretty I couldn't bear to. Then I brushed my teeth really well and told mommy over and over, my teeth are perfectly clean. I absolutely, definitely did not secretly eat too much candy, and the candy box is still completely full. No strawberry flavor, no orange flavor, no cream flavor, none of those flavors at all. But mommy figured it out right away. My big sis even laughed at me and said I had a guilty written all over my face. Oh, distant star, I don't understand. I looked in the mirror and my face was perfectly clean. There was no guilty written on it at all. So, how did mommy and my big sis find out? Are they like you? Can they see everything I do and hear all the little thoughts in my head? I decided from now on, I'm never doing bad things again. Being naughty is definitely not one of my talents. Oh, this must be from when she was like really young. That is so sweet. She was so young, eating a bunch of little candies. Aw, yeah, this must be when she was like a little kid, right? That's so sweet. All right, so we have our next one is called Nikki's Jokes. So some jokes I suddenly thought of while traveling, writing them down to prove I can tell more than just cold jokes. Okay, let's see how these go. Why did no one realize the PC was freezing? Because it kept insisting, not freezing, not freezing. Why can only one shroomling live in the shroomling's house? Because there's not much room. This one's funny. Why did no one come help the standing shroomling? Because it was left to fend us for itself. They're so silly. Okay, those are Nikki's jokes. All right, so next we have Nikki's exclusive leaf cards. So it says, during one of our expeditions, a sudden downpour began. A group of unfamiliar adventurers and we were trapped inside a cave. Mud and sand kept sliding down from the cliff above, while beneath us lay a sheer abyss. Moving recklessly would have been far too dangerous, so we simply lit a fire inside the cave and waited for the rain to stop. Everyone wanted to play something fun to pass the time, but all we had were countless leaves blown by the storm. That's when I thought, why not make use of what we have here? We gathered the leaves and marked them, and just like that, leaf cards were born. To make the game even more interesting, we assigned ourselves different identities, each with unique magical abilities or skills. As long as you had a skill card in your hand, you could use it to challenge or disrupt your opponents. For example, Momo became leader of the Meow Meow cult. That sounds like Momo for sure. Um, whose skills, whose skills were meant that whenever he had no playable cards, the left and right guardians sitting beside him had to help out. Before we knew it, the rain had stopped. Everyone reluctantly packed up their gear and chatting about funny moments from the leaf card game, already feeling like old friends. Outside the cave, the world had been washed clean by the rain, everything fresh and bright. I quietly thanked the sudden storm, for there was no feeling of our plans being ruined at all. If it hadn't rained, we probably would have just passed each other by, and all those fallen leaves would have quietly slept in the cave. We would have missed out on so much joy. It made me realize more and more that these unpredictable little detours on a journey are often the best part of all. Next time a storm comes, maybe we should play an exciting round of leaf cards again. And then it tells us the leaf card method. So we have leaf card crafting method. So it says prepare 80 similarly shaped fallen leaves and one pen. Divide into 4 groups, marking each group with a different symbol. In each group, include 2 sets of cards numbered 1 to 8. The remaining 16 cards are special skill cards. For example, skip turn, reverse direction, wild card, or draw in cards. Effects are players before or after you. If you don't have any leaves, paper, glass, blades, or even small stones work too. Anything that can be written or marked can be used. A traveling adventure can start a game anywhere. Oh, grass blades. I was like, glass? Girl, what? I think grass blades are way too small for that, but paper probably works, or small stones. So, how to play. Each player is dealt 5 leaf cards. The number can be adjusted depending on group size. Players take turns matching either the suit or the number of the previous card played. If you can't play a card, you draw one from the deck. On your turn, you may also use a skill card from your hand. Skills must be defined before the game starts and cannot be changed mid-round. The first player to empty their hand wins the game when only one player remains. Momo's note here: as long as I'm with Nikki and our new friends, even a cave that traps adventurers can become a fun playground. But how could Nikki invent flying meow boulder skill that blows away my cards? Where were the left and right guardians of the meow meow cult? All right, so for this one, we have Hello Miraland. When I read novels, I often imagined things like this, just like those ordinary protagonists living completely normal lives and are then suddenly transported into a magical world. From that moment on, a grand adventure begins. It feels like the gears of fate have started turning. I never expected that one day I would come to Miraland. Here, I can become a protagonist clad in armor. The dark essence blocking my path will be shattered by my own hands, and deception and conspiracies will be exposed through my perceptive gaze. The clothes I sew myself respond to my expectations, giving me the strength to say no bravely and the power to protect what matters. Even though I know this journey leads me towards an unknown future, it's not just a young girl's daydream. The dissipating dark essence and the unraveled schemes and lies are only visible tip of a much deeper iceberg of darkness. If I want to rewrite the ending into something more complete, I still have a long road ahead of me. But luckily, I've already started to fall in love with this place. The journey itself is beautiful. Miraland opened a door for me, welcoming the version of me who once longed for a better, brighter world. There is so much love, warmth, and liveliness here. In this place, miracles are always unfolding in the present tense. Nice to meet you, Miraland. I will walk alongside you all the way till tomorrow I've always dreamed of. All the way to the tomorrow I've always dreamed of. Oh, wow. Interesting. This must be when she first started coming over to Miraland for the first time, I guess. All right, so now we have Nikki's diary. It says, it was only after finally untangling my earphone cable and squinting at the slightly faded L and R that I put them in and pressed play. Not this song, not this one either. Even though I haven't listened to the CD for a very, very long time, I know there's a track on it that's exactly what I want to hear right now. The first time I heard that song was during the summer after middle school began. Summer camps were very popular back then, and I hadn't really made any close friends yet, but I still signed up with excitement and anticipation. After settling my luggage, I sat on the lower bunk that still hadn't belonged to anyone, spacing out and wondering what kind of summer this will be. Suddenly, A girl with a high ponytail confidently stepped in front of me, her shadow falling right over me like she owned the room. I still remember what she said. It's fine. You can sit there. I don't really have anything to unpack. You're Nikki from the upper bunk, right? Your hair color is really special. So, what kind of music do you like? She passed me one of her earphones like she was the guardian of music itself. From them flowed a light, flowing melody with bright, lively percussion like rushing, crystal clear streams I had seen in a photo in camp brochure. It felt like she and this mountain full of summer life were all saying hello to me through those cheerful notes. That summer, we often shared a single pair of earphones and listened to music together. After the closing ceremony, we packed our bags. The room was just as empty as when we first arrived. I suggested we listen to one more song. She understood immediately, or maybe she had been thinking the same all along. Strangely, at that time, the bright and lively melody felt like it was gently comforting my sadness, and all those hellos slowly turned to goodbyes. I kept pressing next track again and again until I finally reached that song. Why do I want to hear it so much today? Is it because graduation season is coming? After that summer, I never met those friends again, not once. But this song tells me that goodbyes just need time. As long as we're all living our lives properly, one day we will meet again by the mountains, by the water, and all the most beautiful places in the world. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sad. She never saw her friend again. And oh man, that's sweet. That made me sad actually. But that was really sweet at the end. All right, so now we have Nikki's Treasure Hunt Report 2. So, Adventure Nikki, age 8. Adventure site, Mom's Secret Base. Nikki had made another major discovery: Mom's true identity. Mom always tells my sister and me that she's a stylist, but as a great detective, I've realized something. This job is far more amazing than that. It feels just like magic. Yesterday, Mom was busy in her room, and I sat quietly nearby reading a fairy tale book. Mom didn't know that I'd been secretly observing how she worked the whole time. First, Mom sorted through lots and lots of sketches, big ones, small ones. There were even landscape photos Dad had sent inside. Then she took out a blank sheet of paper and began writing and drawing quickly, softly murmuring words like summer and passion. In just a few strokes, she drew a beautiful girl. A few more swift lines later, the girl was wearing a dress even more beautiful than anything in my storybooks. Mom paused for a moment and thought carefully. Then she said softly, "No, the hem should be made of sheer fabric, something fluffy and light." With more quick strokes, she added soft cloud-like layers to the dress. Then Mom took out another brand new sheet of paper and drew lots of simple shapes, along with mysterious numbers. I thought her work was finished there, but today I saw something unbelievable in her room. There were all kinds of strange shaped fabrics that matched the drawings exactly. Mom was holding the fabrics and adjusting them over her mannequin partner, carefully shaping them. The dress from yesterday's drawings had really come to life. When I grow up, I want to learn this incredible kind of magic too. Nikki seeing her mom make outfits. That's so sweet. Stop. Next, we have another rainy day. So, rainy days in Maryland are a little different. There are no weather forecasts here, but people don't mind running into a downpour. Maybe it's because stylists can pull out an umbrella or change into a raincoat so easily it doesn't slow down their adventure. Normal people can keep a close eye on the well informed weather orchid. When it turns transparent, people know rain is on the way and can get ready. Still, at first, I kept worrying about the weather out of habit. And when raindrops suddenly fell, my first thought was to find shelter. Today was the first time I intentionally wore leather shoes to splash through puddles and went to find the rainy orchid by the lake without an umbrella. It felt so fresh and free. But I also truly realized that even with similar sky, rivers, and grassy slopes, I'm actually in a completely unfamiliar world. It isn't just a faraway place. I can't even know the exact distance between me and home, and there's no way to travel back. Luckily, Momo is always with me. Seeing him makes me feel so safe. In all this unknown, at least we still have each other as an unchanging anchor. When I feel homesick, I've been trying to find similar, familiar things in this world. For example, rain. Here, rain here is still rain. When it rains, the air has the same fresh scent. Sitting by the window like this, it almost feels like I'm still at school with no Feywish sprite to hear my wish that the teacher wouldn't suddenly spring a pop quiz. No floating ability to help me run the 800 meters and no wondrous adventures. I can have a normal walk home after class and a whole slow afternoon to watch heavy rain that will fall many more times this summer. My head full of daydreams about traveling and changing the world. I want to tell the self from back then that a world like this really is waiting for you. You'll set off on a magical journey and make your dreams come true. Luckily, lucky me has decided to gather up lots of courage and passion to embrace this world. I just need a little more time to adjust to such a huge change. That's so sad. Like she's talking about how she likes it around here, but she's definitely feels like everything is she's not an outcast, but she's definitely feeling a bit different. Obviously, this isn't her normal world. And Momo really is the only thing that she has that's normal, I guess, to her because he came with her over here, right? But she doesn't have like her mom here or her sister, and she's no longer in school. She's just going around on her adventures. So, wow. So, next we have At the Wish Carnival Party. In Maryland, there are always so many fresh and wondrous things to see. For example, that carnival mask, which can reflect the deepest desires hidden within the wearer's heart and then fulfill them in a strange and unexpected way. So that's why Momo secretly wishes for a pair of long, slender legs. Oh my gosh, long leg Momo. Now the ballroom is filled with flickering lights, and the Feywish sprites are spinning freely in the air. The world before my eyes feels like it's being stirred together and flowing radiance, and I feel a little dizzy. I can't quite tell, is this a normal reaction from spinning around or an after effect of happiness overload? All I know is that this is a moment I have to remember. Maybe one day in the future, I'll look back on this moment and add a note to it. At that time, I had just danced a joyful waltz with the charming Momo Longlegs. Such happiness. But after saying that, I realized no, that's not quite right. It isn't something as simple as just happiness. Does anyone else feel similar? When a celebration reaches its peak, somehow becomes strangely calm. I start to observe my friends' smiling faces as if taking photographs of each moment with my eyes. It feels like I can already sense the end of the celebration coming, and I can already feel how much I'll miss it. So I really want to leave something behind for my future self, a memory I can carry forward wherever I go. I remember that. Long leg Momo. Oh my goodness. All right, so next we have reflections while organizing the photo album. Today, while tidying up our photo album, I suddenly had the idea to gather all our family trip photos into one collection. And just like that, I ended up with a travel journal that grew from two people to three to four, while the two little girls in the photos kept getting taller and taller too. But when I counted carefully, I realized something. Most of the photos were actually taken when both girls were still very small. After my sister went off to university, she only comes home during the winter and summer holidays. And if my mom is busy with work or dad is away, it becomes really difficult for us to travel together like before. Also, I think I don't cling to my family the way I used to anymore. I have my own things to do now, and my own friends, my own expanding world. Home is no longer everything. It has become a place I can return to and a place I miss from time to time. Maybe this is what growing up feels like. Next time my sister comes home, I want to ask her if she feels the same way. I really want to grow up faster to experience things I can only get answers from her right now. Maybe I'll be able to go even further even go wait, sorry. Maybe I'll be able to go even further places and have even more exciting adventures. Next we have Animal Friends of Miraland. When I was in elementary school, my favorite kind of essays was the observation diary. Of course, I was also very good at those imaginative prompts like my dream, where you could dream big and let your imagination run wild. But whenever I lowered my head and carefully observed small living creatures, I always felt deeply moved by them, and I couldn't help but want to write something about what I saw. So, back then, my most anticipated weekend activity was going to the zoo with my dad, my mom, and my sister. I would carefully observe every animal, noting down their appearance and movements. I would also imagine that somewhere in the world there must be a magical creature no one has ever discovered. And I, Nikki, would be the first person to become friends with them. Because of this, I became the animal expert among my classmates. Everyone would call me the magical creature professor, and they were always curious to see what I had written next. Now that I think about it, I was actually being too conservative back then. The animal friends I met in Maryland are far more special and magical than anything I could ever imagined. The flues pattern look like the twisted knit sweaters my mom makes, wrapping around it in gentle circles on a warm sunlight. The Bibicoon's heart-shaped bib is so soft it feels like freshly made cotton candy. And I also really like the shy blush bunny, but you have to approach them very carefully. Otherwise, you'll scare them away. And what makes me most proud is discovering the secret to gaining the trust of the dawn foxes. Their golden eyes are filled with the sunlight of Maryland. If I were still a primary school student back then who had experienced all this, my essays wouldn't just be famous in class, they would probably have become best selling fantasy novels. I also have a super, super big secret to share. We can really communicate with animals. After learning the animal inviting skill, I tried sending invitations to familiar little creatures, asking if they would like to be friends and visit my home. To my surprise, their responses turned into warm, lively melodies. Music truly transcends borders and species. It flows directly from the heart to another. No translation needed anymore. My friendliness and warmth simply carry over straight into their hearts, and I could hear them curious rhythms, friendly chords, and joyful notes. In Maryland, miracles happen everywhere. I finally became true friends with hundreds and thousands of magical creatures. So, next we have Spotted a Spider, No Fear Here. If you told 6-year-old me that I could catch spiders with my own hands and use the silk they spin to make clothes, she'd probably be shocked, wouldn't she? But in the land full of miracles, that's exactly what happens. Like the hero in a story who stumbles upon a secret martial arts manual, the girl who used to be afraid of spiders arrived in Maryland and discovered the bug catching ability, crafting an unbelievably powerful special net with this secret weapon. All I have to do is wait quietly and strike decisively. No insect can escape me. It happens so fast, I don't even have time to be afraid. When I find myself in this world where imagination becomes reality, observing the weave spiders I once couldn't even bear to look at, I realize they aren't nearly as frightening as I once believed. After all, I can now handle even more terrifying estlings with ease. The 6-year-old Nikki probably assumed spiders would bite, were venomous, or were monsters, so she stayed away from them out of fear. But for the Nikki I am now, who has gained many new abilities, I can finally protect myself from harm. As a stylist, I've also become to understand the diligent side of spiders and grown used to the excellent materials they provide. After looking at them for a while, they even start to seem kind of cute. As a great teacher for courage and great helper for cloaks creation, thank you, weave spiders. So now we have memories of the pitch. Clang! I've beaten the kickball shoot and score challenge. The breezy metal kickball game? No way it could stop me. Back when I had soccer practice at school, my teacher said my kicks were soft and lacked power, but that I was fairly agile, so I might be better suited as a goalkeeper. I understood what she meant. She was trying to help me play to my strengths and avoid my weaknesses. But I thought you only really find out what you can't do by giving your all first. Low stamina isn't some fatal flaw I have to run away from. I can face it and I can overcome it. So I joined every training session, ball control drills, passing drills, shooting drills, and most importantly, endurance training. When my sister came home during the summer break, she was shocked and joked that by the end of the holidays, I could probably punch her straight back to school. Even though I still couldn't keep up with dad's marathon pace, I finally became a goalkeeper who sort of understood soccer. I still remember every time I stepped into the field, every ball I managed to block, and every glance and cheer shared with my teammates. I really miss those days of standing side by side with my friends, those days of struggling against what I wasn't good at. I wonder where they are now. Are they still shining on the soccer field? Do they ever miss those days we trained and played together? When I return to my original world, I'm definitely going to meet up with everyone again and play proper all out match together. This is so sad. She keeps bringing up people from her past or from her world. And even though she likes Miraland, you can tell that she definitely misses people from, where her world is, right? Aw. All right, so now we have Diary of the Vampire Princess. Oh, I'm interested about this. Dad brought home a destined food for the little vampire princess. In a far, far away land, there lived a divine beast called the fire dragons. The flames they breathed condensed into magical fruits. One day, the dragon king was wounded in battle and bled, and the fire it breathed became the magnificent fruit I can see now, the glorious red fleshed dragon fruit. Dad says if I want to awaken the sleeping magic inside my body, I must eat more treasures that are perfectly suited for a vampire physiologically, like this. And tomato with scrambled eggs too, cranberry jam, sweet red bean paste. I can feel it. The tiny black seeds inside the bright red flesh are the manifestation of the Dragon King's bravery. Mom also told me some wondrous news. The ceremonial dress for the vampire princess coronation is finally ready. Every thread was spun together with moonlight, so even sunlight wouldn't burn when worn. The vampire princess would never just hide away inside some ancient castle. I'm going to conquer the giant monsters of the night. Also, my big sis finally acknowledged all the evidence providing that I'm truly the vampire princess. But when she called out to me, Your Highness, I quickly told her to shh and carefully looked around. Luckily, there weren't any strangers nearby. It can't be helped. My identity can't be revealed too openly. At school, I still have to live as an ordinary elementary school student. Oh, this was her being the vampire princess. Aw, what is this? Ceremonial dress for a vampire princess coronation. That's interesting. All right, so now I have Notes from the Distant Sea of Stars. This notebook is for collecting fallen leaves from all across Maryland. Before I knew it, I'd already gathered quite a thick stack. Leaves from bull fruit trees, fallen leaves from the great wish tree, yellow leaves from the flight fruit tree, leaves from the chronos tree, fragments from the golden leaf tree, and many others I can't even name. I only record where and when I pick them up, little reminders of moments I met each tree. One leaf is especially unique. I heard that long, long ago, the hills of the Linglang were covered with trees like this. Their seeds were round and fuzzy little balls that clung to a small animal like hitchhikers, even traveling as far as Star Hill Federation. So full of life was the species that it once dominated entire valleys there. But when I found this leaf, it was already on the last tree of its kind in Maryland. The leaf hung alone from a withered branch before finally falling. It's hard to imagine that it once grew so wildly and dominantly here. I carefully pressed into my notebook and noticed its veins resembled a dry riverbed beside the tree. Both stretch both stretch forward in the same direction, yet neither can ever reach the next season again. In truth, collecting leaves as bookmarks was a habit I formed as a child, and it hasn't changed since coming to Maryland. But in recent years, I've realized the habit has taken on a new meaning. This world is already broken and fragmented. I don't know whether these trees will ever sprout again. In an increasingly unfamiliar, sacred world, it has become harder and harder to remember the beauty of the past or to imagine a brilliant future, and yet these leaves line the path ahead of me, giving me the resolve to keep moving forward. Such a day will come, won't it? When this place is once again full of life, lush, and green. Well, everybody, that is it for today's video. I thought these were really sweet and I wanted to keep like a little archive of them. So if anybody wants to look back at it, it's here. And yeah, if you did like the video, please consider liking and subscribing for more Infinity Nikki and cozy game content. And before we go, I just want to give a huge thank you to all of our channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!